knitty nerdy people. It's Echo, and I'm here to welcome you back to the Knitted Bean podcast. I know that it's only been a week, and so this will probably be a short one, but I do want to stay on schedule because I have the end dates for knit-alongs and make-alongs and things like that lined up for when I would like to podcast, and I don't want to shake that up. Also because it's helpful for me to be on a routine since I'm disabled and I don't work. So a little bit about the Knitted Bean. It is a nitty nerdy, sometimes sweary podcast with a side order of fandom at the end, and I do have some fandom today if that is the main thing you're here for. I already told you my name. I live in Montana with my husband and our two Boston Terriers, one of which is licking her paws obnoxiously loud, I'm sure, right now. Granny, come here. Come here, Granny. I'll show you the culprit. Come here. Come here. Ooh, off the bed. Oh. Granny is not the best at not snagging knitting, unlike Lugs, who's actually pretty good at it. Granny's kind of a flailer. No licking. No. Be good. Take your time to shine. They're both kind of cold because it's been chilly here. It's about 42 degrees right now, which is, I don't know, 5 or 6 Celsius. We've definitely had some snow. We've had some rain. We've had a few days where it was warmer, and we got, oh, don't get into the bitey face right by the camera. Come here, guys. You can hear it. Hey, guys, you're gonna bump into the camera. Take a chill pill. Okay? Sit down. I brought the bed in here. Sit down. I literally put the dog bed at my feet, hoping that they would be like, oh, it's cold, we're gonna snuggle. But it just never works. Never works. Lugs would like to say hello too. Ooh. See, I'm not a flailer. I'm a good dog. As much as you're actually the naughty dog of the two, we're good with knitting. Anyway, so I would say that fall/winter has definitely arrived. Montanans would not call this winter because it's not below 0, like Fahrenheit 0, but I think a lot of people would call this winter because it's below freezing a lot of the time, definitely at night. And it's cold and you do have the chance of snow. So I guess winter is all relevant to where you're at on the latitude lines. I joke that I completely missed fall because the trees were green when I left, yellow when I came back with half the leaves on the ground, and then it snowed the next day. So I think fall here only lasts like 2 weeks. Could you lay down if I set you down? Yeah, you look pretty comfortable. But I also don't have the energy to hold you for the whole podcast because there's nowhere for you to sit on my lap. Tell him bye. He's bye-bye. Lugs loves you. Knuckle up. Lugs was raised in a barn, literally. She was a puppy mill mama that we rescued at, don't play in the yard, good girl, that we rescued at about 4 or 5 years old. We're not really sure because they don't keep track. And she, for the first few years we got her, she was like, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, oh my god, I'm hot, can I go outside and lay in the grass? And she would like spread in the grass. But she's now become the consummate house dog, and when it drops below like 65, she's like, I'm cold, I need to snuggle. And it's very cute and adorable. She's living her best retirement, far away from bad people who do bad things. All right, let's keep it on track. Today is 10/19, which is good since it's episode 19. If you need to get a hold of me, you can find me as the Knitted Bean on Instagram or Ravelry. I do have a Ravelry podcast group for the Knitted Bean podcast up. And it does have a couple threads, a chatter as well as a finished object thread for the knit along that we have going on right now, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You can also email me at knittedbean@gmail.com. I also have a Ko-Fi, which I link down there if you feel like supporting the podcast in some way, but don't take that as like a requirement in any way, shape, or form, because it is not. What am I drinking? And what am I drinking out of today? So, I think I've showed this one before. That was loud, Granny. This is my Dirty Birds mug. I cannot talk today. My Dirty Birds mug, which has all the naughty named birds on it. And if you could see through my tea inside, which you can't, it has a little bird inside that says tit. Stop licking your paws. Come lay down here and sleep. I have a blanket for you. She's such a paw licker. She's like, don't throw a blanket on me. Call it birding the dog, because it puts her to sleep. She's like, no, I don't want to be birded. Well, come here. Stop licking your paws then. And in my mug, I have, what did I make today? Oh, sticky rice puree, which is one of my favorites from Lake Missoula Tea. I know I'm always like harping on them, but I really do love every tea pretty much that I've ever got from them. What I really wanted to make was some Sakura cherry, which is one of my favorites. And I hunted all over and apparently I'm out. So I must be due a tea order. Due to like to snuggle up there. I'll even give you the bed. Have a bed. I really want to be able to record the podcast with him in the room today. We're home alone. And they're just like, pay attention to me. And then they've been sitting on my lap all day. I have to remember to add a link to Lake Missoula Tea below. I usually have one, but I think I took it out last time because I wasn't drinking that. I think that's it for like my general little introduction that I normally do. How have you all been? I've been catching up on days and days worth of YouTube podcasts and vlogs that I was not watching while I was on vacation. They've all been lovely. And oh my god. Sorry, we just had a scrappy dog moment that I had to intervene on. Nothing serious, just playing a little rougher than Granny would appreciate. She's old. She has a bad hip. She's not into that. What was I saying? Oh, Vlogtober. Oh my gosh. So all you guys who are doing Vlogtober, you just amaze me with your energy and your like motivation to get up every day and record, even if it's just like a 5-minute video. I was thinking that I would do Vlogmas. And now I'm like, there's no way I have that kind of like, you know, I don't have that much energy. Like, it's a lot of work for me to get up and record a podcast. And a lot of times I stretch that one podcast recording out over 4 days. Like, I record it one day, I spend 2 days editing it, because the editing for a 1-hour podcast can easily take 3 to 4 hours. And then I upload and post on a day, because that can also take an hour or so. And there's no way I can do that in a day, every day, even if it's just a 5-minute thing, because it would be like 5 minutes of recording. But I mean, you still have to set up the camera and stuff, and then like they've got to be spending at least 20 minutes editing if they're doing like a 5-minute episode, and then uploading. Like, you think about that, that's probably somewhere between a half hour and an hour total out of their day every day. And like, there's no way I would sleep for a week. So now I'm like, maybe I should revise my idea about doing Vlogmas and instead do like maybe, I don't know, a vlog style video once a week for Vlogmas or something. Or maybe I won't do it at all. We'll see. We'll see how I feel around the holidays. Oh good, they finally chilled out. Okay, so outside of that, so the head, shoulders, fingers, and toes knit along is still ongoing. I have my first finished object for that, which is a pair of socks that I'm going to show here in a moment. But you are welcome to post your finished objects to Instagram with the hashtag head, shoulders, fingers, toes, MAL 2021. Or you can post them in that finished objects thread in Ravelry in the Knitted Bean podcast group if you prefer Ravelry as your platform. You can even post them on both. I really don't mind. I am going to do prizes, one off of each at least for finished objects, and I do have someone who contacted me and offered to donate a prize, so I have prizes at least for each covered at the moment. But if anybody's interested in donating more, feel free to send me an email or DM me on Instagram. I'm totally open to giving away more prizes or offering prizes for FOs or whatever, or future make-alongs, etc. Other fun things. Katie from the Naughty Knitting Sacks, whom you all know I love because I have a couple of her bags and I'm very attached to them, has contacted me and offered you guys a discount code. So we have BEAN15, and I will put that on the bottom here. That's BEAN15, that you can enter at checkout on Etsy in her shop. That will get you 15% off your purchase there. And she did just have an update on Friday. I checked right before I podcasted. She still has at least 2.5-3 pages worth of good items left that are all super cool. So you should definitely go check her out and see if there's anything there that like piques your interest. Not everything that she posts and sells is naughty, but definitely there are naughty things, and sometimes that's the fun of it. So if you've watched even probably a single one of my episodes, you've seen a naughty knitting sack. They really just completely make me smile in the best way, because it's just like a little hidden bit of fun for all of us. And the other thing that's fun that's going on is we hit 100 subscribers. So we will be doing the giveaway towards after probably FOs and things like that towards the end. But before I hit the fandom. So hang around and I will do a drawing for that live on the camera. Speaking of the head, shoulders, fingers, toes make along 2021, my first finished object definitely falls into that category. I did start it after I took off. These are the mountain socks. And they have a vanilla is the new black heel. With a kind of swirly toe. So I'll admit, I was originally thinking like, oh, I'll put some brown on the cuffs and I'll have brown toes, and then I'll do the vanilla is the new black heel, and then I cast it on and I totally forgot to do the alternating cuff color. So then I was like, oh, I kind of like them all solid. But I did really want to work in a little bit of the brown in the toe, so I decided to do like a 2-stripe alternating. So the mountain sock is just like a it's a repeating knit purl stitch pattern. It's a paid pattern, so I'm not going to give it away. I don't remember off the top of my head how much it was, but I don't think it was more than $5. It just gives kind of this fun faux diamond crisscross texture. I did block these, so they are super nice and soft. And then vanilla is the new black heel. If you haven't seen it before, is that sort of rib texture triangle anatomical heel. This is the second time I've made it, and I'm still totally on the fence about whether or not it's a heel for me or not. I do have it memorized at this point by now. I could knit it without a pattern, but I find that it takes me a while. I've heard that people love it because by the time you get to the heel turn, you're done with the heel. Yeah, but I also find it takes me so much longer to knit that heel than a short row heel, which is my usual. And I mean, I can whip through a short row heel, whole heel, like start to finish, an hour if I'm concentrating, an hour and 20 if I'm not. And I can do contrast colors, which I really love to do. And I don't really see how you could do a contrast color on this unless you were doing intarsia, and intarsia is not a skill that I have. The other thing is it's really wide instep. So I do see where this would really benefit somebody like my husband, who has really flat feet and a low arch and just has like that real wide ankle instep. I don't necessarily have that. Sometimes I have that when my edema gets really bad. I have that, but you know, just depends. So I'm always like tempted to like, can I knit a smaller size heel on the sock to kind of like spin up a little? So I guess it really just depends on how your foot's built. I'm not sure it's the heel for me. I think it probably is the heel for my husband. And coming up soon on my needles is going to be a pair of gift socks for him for Christmas. And I think that I probably will do this heel because I think that would fit him a lot better than if I do a short row heel for him. I'm going to have to do like a mini gusset, a large, maybe not even mini, maybe just like a full gusset on the side to give him enough room for that. So that is the mountain socks with the vanilla is the new black heel. And the mountain socks are by Rachel Nuttig, I think. Yeah. And so these are done in my September Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Squad Club, which was a Highwood sock. That's an 80/20. The colorway was the Fantastic Mr. Fox. I do really like it. It's super fall. I originally was thinking I might do something like almost like maple leafy pattern, but I really like these. Also I put them on and they're super duper comfortable. I just realized I forgot to talk about what I was wearing. You guys have seen this a lot because I don't have that many like knits that I wear. This is the Fog and Whisper by Veera Välimäki. I always want to call it the London Fog because that's what I named it in my Ravelry, but it's the Fog and Whisper by Veera Välimäki. And I made it in some Illimani Ecolama and some Plies and Hellhound Fig Lace, which is the mohair bat flaps here. And it's just a open, hang open cardigan. No buttons or anything like that. Okay. Other whips that I have on my needles. Speaking of knotty knitting sacks, living in my giant knotty knitting sack that I ordered from Katie's special order handle, which I love. And it's got the kind of like tech drawn on the outside and the gay merman on the inside. Is my CHARSI. I didn't make any headway on it, you guys, so if you saw this last week you can just like turn away and not worry about it. I'm still loving it, and I'm ready to pick it back up. In fact, I'll probably pick it back up today. I just hadn't made it to it because I was hustling to finish those socks. So it has two arms. All I gotta do is knit a body, add a ribbing, maybe weave in a few ends, although I tend to weave in my ends as I go, so there's probably not that many. And block this baby. And like real, let's get on it because now it's cold outside and I really want to be able to wear this sweater. So my hope is that this will be done by the next time I podcast. So we'll see if you can hold me to it. I also have some socks. Couple pairs of socks that I want to work on. And a hat that I like to cast on. That's my problem. I want to cast too many things on. CHARSI's still awesome. I still think it's totally worth it. It's like $8 and something Canadian. 100% worth it. So hopefully by next week you will see that done and ready to roll. My next work in progress is in my fat squirrel fibers. I think this is a sock size. Nice detachable handle. Plain undyed canvas cotton thing in the inside, which I really like. It has my Sock Squad pin on it. This is actually not my Sock Squad. But I had promised a friend that I would make them some socks, and I have set aside this yarn for them. I've been eyeballing it forever. It's a rainbow tweed or confetti tweed from Murray & Co. Wool Goods, and they don't sell it anymore. I don't know if they're gonna get it back. I haven't seen it on their website in months, like 6 months maybe. I really hope they get it back because at some point I'd really love to buy a sweater's quantity of this. Ooh, that's, I don't like that. That's some okay, this is not accurate. Lights. That's kind of accurate. This is more red and it's definitely showing up. There we go. It's more like that. So this is like a rainbow that I've had, this is deep stash. It's leftover from the very first pair of socks that I ever knitted for my mother-in-law. And that was like 5 years ago. I have no idea what it is. I do know that it's like wool with nylon. I bought it at the knitting store and like it's sock yarn. And it looks to be 3 or 4 ply. It's clearly hand dyed. I have no idea who it is. Not a clue. And then the purple is the confetti tweed or the rainbow tweed. And I'm doing the Twisty Boys, which I'll insert a picture of up here because it looks really awesome. And I can't wait to get a little bit further on it. The pattern's by Nicholas Heed. And I don't remember how much the pattern was. I feel like it might have been like $6.50. I could be totally wrong though, but it's so much cabley goodness. You're not cabling every single round, but fairly often. Let me show you the cakes. That's not horribly inaccurate. And then this Tweety goodness, you probably recognize it because I wound off 30 grams of this to go in my CHARSI because I love it that much. And I know that for that size sock, I'm not, with contrast heels, toes, and cuffs, I'm not going to need a full 100 grams. And I needed some other purple to go in there. So yeah, the Twisty Boys by Nicholas Heed, or Nicholas Heed. And those are going to be a gift sock for a friend that I'm going to mail to Canada. Well, I feel like just a moment ago I had an aha, wait, there's something else I need to tell you moment, and it's already gone because that's how my brain works. Totally lost it, whatever it was. Not a clue. Anything that I mention in the podcast, I often forget to mention, but it should be linked below the jump. If you find that I've mentioned something and there isn't a link or you're curious, feel free to comment and ask me, send me a DM, send me an email, whatever. I usually get back pretty fast. So that stuff all said, I have no acquisitions because, let's be honest, I just spent my whole budget going someplace and buying yarn. There will be no acquisitions for a while. So let's do the drawing, and then we'll do some life and some fandom, and I will let you guys run away. Let me pull this up on here. I have, amount of unique comments, 19, which means you have a 1 in 18 chance of winning because one person said, if I'm drawn, don't pick me. So here we go. Raquel Atrinka, you are the winner. Congrats. I began knitting when I moved to Florida. Hurricanes make me super anxious, so I read somewhere that knitting helps, and I haven't stopped knitting since. That's pretty cool. Not the hurricane bit, but the knitting to relax bit. I can totally relate. It does. Take your mind off things. So, Raquel, if you will get a hold of me, like I said, you can send me a DM on Instagram, send me an email, or you can contact me on Ravelry, any of those ways. Send me your whole address in the real world, and I will send you out your prize, which is going to be, it was shown on the last podcast, but it's going to be this skein of yarn, it's some stickers, a stitch fixer, some Katrinkles buttons, some soak, a little notions pouch, and I will get that out to you. That's super awesome. And just in general, I'm so glad to be able to do that and like share the love, because you guys have shared a lot of love with me, and it makes me feel like a lot more involved in the community instead of just like chilling out at home knitting by myself, because my husband does not care that I knit. He's good about it, and he's like, I think your yarn stash is reasonable. Which bless his little heart. I think a lot of husbands look at us and they're like, that's a lot of money. But, you know, he tries to be really good at it. He's like, no, I think it's reasonable. You should be able to shop in your own stash. and he'll ask what I'm knitting on. And then I'll be like, oh, it's this cool cable-y sock, you know, where you take the stitches from here and you move them to there, and he'll be like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. So it's nice to be able to share my enthusiasm with some other people who do get what I'm talking about. And I'm also excited now that I have picked a winner, I can go back and comment on all of your comments. I didn't want to comment on them because I didn't want to like fuss with the picker, but a bunch of them were really cool, and I totally want to like say something to each one of them. So that's awesome. We'll do that and get that out. Okay, so life. It's really only been a week, and I'm still kind of worn out, to be honest with you. Less worn out. I'm really only sleeping like 12 hours a day and up for 12 hours a day instead of like 24 or 18. But I definitely have like a 12-hour timer before I'm like, okay, it is bedtime now. But, you know, whatever. We had snow, which I'm not a super duper fan of. I have really bad arthritis. So weather changes are not my best friend. But it looks pretty, and that also means that I need to get around to picking my grapes, because I bought a grape bush from Walmart like maybe 7 years ago now, maybe 6. And planted it next to my house thinking it would be lovely if it grew, but it's from Walmart, and let's be honest, it's probably not going to, because a lot of the times the plants sold at big box stores like that are not they don't take into account like your gardening zone and your growing season and things like that. And I live in Montana, which is like zone 3 technically. Really, it needs to be like zone 2 though, when you buy something, because it's zone 3 where every 3 or 4 years you get a zone 2 year. So if you buy a zone 3 thing, it will die in like 4 years. And I planted it, I watered it, I left it like they said, and it grew really well. And then the next year it totally got grapes, and I was like, oh, awesome, great, sweet. And I picked them, there wasn't that many, and then I pruned it like you're supposed to, and then the next year was huge with tons of grapes, so many that I picked grapes, I made wine, I had 6 bottles of wine, I made raisins, and I still was like, anybody want grapes? Anybody? Anybody? And they're good grapes. It's a Valiant is the breed, I think. Like they taste good as wine and also as raisins and also as grapes. They're medium as table grape. So every year now it's like this, oh God, what do we do with the grapes? Because I mean, we keep it trimmed back and prune it, but since I've gotten really sick, that falls on my husband and it hasn't been quite as well maintained. I'll try and insert a picture here of the grape. It's like overtaking the corner of my house right now, and he literally, I was like, you have to cut every other branch this spring before it buds. And so he went out there and he was like, I can't handle this thing anymore, and he just like cut off half the grape. He didn't weed every other branch, he just cut off half the grape. So now I have a bush, a grape bush that's like literally the size of the spare bedroom that I podcast in, loaded with grapes. And once you've had one like snow or light frost, you got to pick them, because then all the sugars are all, and like you got to pick them or it's going to go bad. So we're going to do that this weekend. But instead, well, it was a bit over ambitious. My husband was like, we'll plant the tulips, we'll pick the grape. So I repotted my plant that lives over here because it was getting way overgrown for its pot made by my husband, because you know that's what you get for living with an art teacher. And I repotted that, and we planted all the tulip bulbs that I bought in Amsterdam, and then I was like, done. Literally, I can't breathe, done. And so then I was like, okay, well, the grape's not gonna happen this weekend. So it really needs to happen sometime this week. Definitely this weekend. Hopefully it doesn't snow by then, although I know it's supposed to get cold again. I might try to see if some family can come over and help me pick. And then I gotta figure out what I'm doing with all the grapes this year, because I will probably get at least 2 5-gallon buckets at least. Probably more. Last year we got an entire garbage bag full, and I just threw the rest away because I was like, I can't do anything more than this. So I made an entire garbage bag full of raisins in my dehydrator, and then I gave the rest, like I gave the raisins away. I was like, anybody want raisins? I have homemade raisins. Moral of the story, if you live someplace cold, zone like 2, 3, a Valiant grape, a very good plan. Also today, in other news, my husband says, make sure you're up by such and such time, because the lawn guy's gonna come to blow the sprinklers out. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I've been sleeping a lot lately, but because I'm tired, but I can do that. I'll set my alarm for an hour before then. And I go to bed. I actually went to bed like 2 hours early than normal because I'm tired. And I'm sleeping like a rock. And the doorbell rings and the dogs go wild. And I'm like, oh my God, did I like miss my alarm or something? So I'm like hopping out of bed, trying to put pants on without falling over because I don't have my cane in my bedroom. And because I don't usually have to rush and get a shirt on and like, you know, get down to the door on the other end of the house as I'm limping looking for my cane. And I open the door just as the sprinkler guy is like exiting the gate to like go back to his truck, and he turns around. Oh, must have been like my hair must have been everywhere or something. He's like, Am I a little too early? I'm like, no, it's fine, you know. So he comes in and he starts, I look at my phone, he's an hour and a half early. Like, my alarm hasn't even gotten off yet. Like, seriously. Typically, you think of these people as, like, they always run late, you know, oh no, he's gonna be early, and I gotta be, like, running around like a half-dressed goose. And my dogs are like, yay, visitor. Like, I should go comb my hair now. I texted that to my husband. He's like, better late than never. I'm like, yeah, you're not the one answering the door with your hair stuck up like this. So, sprinklers are done. We're ready for winter as soon as we pick the grapes. That's all I've got for life because, again, like I said, it really hasn't been that long. All right, if that is all you're here for and you're not into fan fiction, romance, smut, anything like that, then you're welcome to take off right here. Thank you for hanging out and watching with me. Thank you for getting me to 100 subscribers. I really appreciate you all coming to spend your time with me. And I hope you have a great day. If you are here for the smut, then I have a fan fiction for you, which I haven't had recently because I haven't had any reading spoons, but I have one today, and it's not even Witcher. So what I have is a throwback to Kinktober 2020, and it is by Four Cat Productions, and the title is Shoot the Messenger. This is a Elder Scrolls / Skyrim, just like that whole Elder Scrolls world set. I don't know. It's really like, it does not specify like what particular video game or MMO or anything like that it's set in. It's just set in that setting. It is about 4,000 words. It's a one-shot. It's just Kinktober. It's just a smutty one-shot. It's male, female, and it is that genre that we would call like fight sex or angry sex. Where it starts out as a fight and then it morphs into smut instead. It's really well done, and I'm not super huge on male female because and Caffeinated Craft Mama mentioned this just in reading like commercial like romance. Women are so often portrayed as like making the stupid choice, right? Or the illogical choice, not even necessarily stupid. Stupid's not a great word, but like making the illogical choice. You as the reader, you sit there and you're like, what? Why are you doing that? Why are you, like, I'm a woman and I would not behave that way. I have lots of female friends and they would not behave that way. I know, like, that the male character that you're writing would not behave that way. And so, I often, like, don't enjoy male-female romance because of that, and that's a large reason why I tend to stick with the queer romance, as well as just identifying with it, is just because I don't enjoy seeing people cast in that you can only have a romance if one of you is not as intelligent or not as strong or not as whatever as the other. And Four Cat Productions does a really good job of, that's not the case at all. These people are equally matched, both in the fight, although not quite because one's much bigger, but like they're equally matched. Mentally, they're equally matched. Physically, they attempt to be equally matched. Sexually, they're equally matched. Like, you can have male and female interactions where one's not more or less than the other. And also you can even have male-female interactions where maybe one is kind of being more than the other, but it's not, but it's a choice, right? One is choosing to be a little bit more submissive, not they are more submissive inherently. One is not inherently the weaker sex. One is like, I would enjoy playing the weaker role right now, and maybe later you'll enjoy playing the weaker role. Long story short to say, this is a well-balanced fic, and I appreciated that. They had actually just dropped a snippet in a fan fiction server that I'm in, and I read the snippet and I was like, that's really good. And I'm not usually like, oh, that's really good about male female smut, so hey, could you like send me the link, because I like to read the whole thing so that I can see if I want to wreck it. It is a little kinky. It's Kinktober. I would definitely rate it on the very mild end of kink. Like if you've read any kind of Skyrim smut that involves a Khajiit, then you're fine. That's the max kink you're getting. So yeah, totally go check it out. I will tag it below. I know that 4Cat Productions also has some other great stuff. They have some long fic and a few other short ones. But yeah, give it a try. If you would like just a short, quick read of something where the woman is not like, oh, please save me, then that might be for you, because I know I am not all about the damsel in distress. It gets old after a while. I'm not really about the dude in distress either, though, to be honest with you. I'm just not about, you can't be loved if you're not in distress. That's just not cool to me. Imagine that thought. All right, folks, that is all I've got to you. If you hung around even longer for this, I appreciate it. I know fanfic is not everybody's thing, but I really do believe that there is a moderate crossover between crafty people and fanficky people, and I enjoy putting them together. If you would, leave me a comment below and say hi, give me a subscribe, give me a love, whatever. Come say hi to me on Instagram. I just enjoy the interaction. So I will see you in 2 weeks with probably a lot more knitting and hopefully a finished CHARSI or very, very close. And if you are the prize winner, please, please, please make sure to get a hold of me and send me your real life name and address so that I can get you your goodies. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, evening, night, morning, whatever time zone you're in, and I will see you later. Morning, evening. Let's try that again. I can't talk and I am burpy.